So what I'm going to share with you right now is 7 reasons why life is better after turning 30. So it's the start of another year, 2019, and I'm sitting in my quirky, multicolored condo on the small tropical Thai island of Koh Larn. I keep saying to myself, I feel like I'm just getting started. It's like there's something big about to happen that I've been preparing for all my life. Most people start their year by making a bunch of New Year's resolutions, but the reality is that by February, 80% will have given up. But this year is different for me and you. We get to start a new decade of our lives. We turn 30 this year. Now I know age is just a number, but we can use these milestones as motivation to chase even bigger dreams and initiate exciting changes in our lives. All the amazing experiences and unique challenges you've been through over the last 30 years have brought you to a powerful position to step up and take things to the next level. So today, I want to share 7 reasons why I believe that life really does get better after you turn 30. Reason number 1, you stop taking things so seriously. In your 20s, it's easy to overreact when something bad happens. Maybe you lose your job or split up with your girlfriend, but after the dust settles, you realize that life does, in fact, go on. This is a quality that you can continue to develop as you gain more insight and wisdom from your life experiences. After making a bunch of mistakes early in life, you can now move into your 30s as a more grounded human being, even when shit hits the fan. So next time you're faced with a problem, relax for a moment and ask yourself, will this matter 5 years from now? Usually, the answer is no. So lighten up a little. Even if your worst case scenario did actually happen, you'll bounce back quicker than you could possibly imagine. So reason number 2, you realize that things change all the time. It's a fundamental law of nature. There is birth and there is death. Everything is always in a state of change. This understanding will allow you to move through life with more ease. So even if you're having a bad day, just repeat this mantra in your head. This too shall pass. Ultimately, your day will end, you'll go to bed, and you'll wake up in the morning with an opportunity for a fresh start. It's also important to remind yourself that even the good stuff changes. We often get attached to these positive experiences because of the cocktail of feel-good chemicals produced in our brain. Have you ever found yourself daydreaming about the good old days? The freedom you had when you were younger, the loving relationship, or a time when you had more money? Perhaps when you snap back to reality, you realize there is this uneasy feeling inside of you, created because of the gap between the past and the present. And this indicates you have become attached to your past self. The more time you spend reminiscing about the past, the more likely you are to keep craving those experiences and feel like something is missing in your life. Instead, appreciate and be grateful for both the good and the bad. When you find yourself caught up in the past, be it a positive or negative experience, just let it go and refocus your attention on the here and now. And just repeat to yourself, this too shall pass. This is a great mantra that I use on a daily basis if shit hits the fan, because ultimately something will go wrong, whether it's today, tomorrow, or next week. You just have to remember that this too shall pass, that in 5 years, will this matter or not? And that, at least for me, makes it a lot easier to let go of the bullshit and the negative experience and the weight of a particular problem or a worry. So let's just get into reason number 3. You recognize your strengths. You've probably tried many different things in the last 10 years, and by now you know what you like and what you don't like. You've spent time developing certain skills and talents, so you understand what your strengths are. It's now time to stop playing small and spreading yourself too thin. Focus on your strengths and go all in by applying them to something that's going to have a bigger impact on your life and the lives of others. All my life I've been focused on serving clients and making money from my businesses so I can live the kind of lifestyle that I want. But I never really went deep. None of them lasted more than 2 or 3 years. And I've now discovered that when you switch your motivation from making money to developing your strengths, money will show up as a byproduct. Sure, it might take some time, but if you stick with this approach, you'll soon turn your work into your play. So let's jump into reason number 4. You recognize your weaknesses. So this is kind of the opposite of what we just spoken about. You now know your strengths, but you also recognize your weaknesses as well. It's important to be humble and admit when you're struggling. It's the only way you can move forward. At this point in your life, you should have figured out some of the things that you struggle with and be comfortable with asking for help. You're not embarrassed or ashamed. You know your strengths and you also know your weaknesses, and you're working on both. And this is such an important point because if you're unable to admit to your weaknesses and ask for help, you're going to continue to struggle in silence. And that doesn't benefit anybody. It's certainly not going to benefit yourself, but the projects you're working on are also going to suffer because you're not able to ask for help where you need it the most. So let's jump into reason number 5. You have failed. We often hold ourselves back because of the fear of failure, that our universe will come crashing down if things don't work out. But your life experience has shown you that even when you fail, you can still pick yourself up, figure out what happened, and move forward with a renewed sense of clarity and purpose. You know that this fear is all in your head, and the worst case scenario you're painting on the canvas of your mind will actually never happen. So this is important as you'll need to take some big risks over the next few years, and it's going to test you on a completely different level. So all those failures, all the lessons and the insights and the wisdom that you've gained from them have not gone to waste. You're going to be able to use those moving forward to invest into bigger projects and bigger problems that you're going to be able to tackle. So this is why it's often said in the entrepreneurial world to fail fast and to fail forward, because the lessons that you pick up along the way are absolutely invaluable. You don't really learn a great deal when you succeed, but when you fail, you're forced to look at what happened and what went wrong and what you can learn from that process. So reason number 6, you have succeeded. No matter how big or small, a win is a win. Upon reflection, you can see what conditions contributed to your success so you can replicate them in the future. And maybe being super prepared with a detailed plan is what helps you reach your goal. Or perhaps it's going for a daily walk in nature that allows you to mull over ideas and connect the dots so you can take that next step. Whatever rituals work for you, make sure to build your life around them and do not compromise. They are the reason you're able to take things up a gear or two. So reason number 7, you understand people better. Humans are interesting and often irrational creatures. By now, you will have interacted with a whole range of people, from the poor and the homeless begging on the streets to wealthy bankers in their fancy pinstripe suits. So by mixing with a diverse cross-section of society, you start to develop more compassion for your fellow man. You realize that everyone has worries, fears, and doubts, just like you. You have noticed what kind of people energize you, the ones who you can talk for hours and never get bored. And conversely, you'll have met people who you just don't connect with. This is perfectly fine. We can't be friends with everyone, so find your tribe and go deep. Quality over quantity all day long. And this is a big lesson that I've learned in my life. I would prefer to have 2 or 3 really close friends who I share everything with versus 10, 20, 30 friends that I maybe speak to like a couple of times a year and we don't really have any depth to the relationship. So that's why I say quality over quantity all day long. Super important. Okay, so what does this all mean? Well, the fact is you are now a more grounded and compassionate human being. Your experience in the 7 areas I've just shared with you has given you a greater understanding of yourself and others. This puts you in a powerful position to really create something exponentially epic in your life. But don't worry if you haven't got it all figured out yet. I don't either. I mentioned earlier that I feel like my life is just getting started, and maybe you feel that way too, that something big is about to happen. You finally got into a groove and been able to achieve some of your long-term goals. But now what? It's really funny to think about how reckless and naive I was throughout most of my 20s. And I'm going to reference the post that I created about this. There is also the video and the podcast for this post that you can find on dabsofreality.com or the YouTube channel Dabs of Reality. It's titled 9 Important Life Lessons I Learned from Surviving My 20s. So you can read about all the fuck-ups that I made over that interesting decade of my life. But my drug-fueled party days are over, and I'm now focused on cultivating mastery around skills and activities I enjoy, like writing, playing the guitar, and paragliding. So I believe life really does get better after you turn 30 because you've grown up, you've matured, and developed a more accurate picture of who you are. I believe true fulfillment comes from spending time immersed in something you love to do, without putting any emphasis on making money from it. This will come as a byproduct as you master your craft. So this could be writing, painting, singing, brainstorming with a client, a deep conversation with your partner, snowboarding, or even rock climbing, and the list can go on and on. And perhaps you've reached a certain level of success already. You have the car, the house, the nice salary, but there is still an emptiness inside that cannot be filled with materialistic bullshit. But the cool thing is, you would never have had this realization without going on that journey. So now it's time to take everything you've learned thus far and apply it to something that is more in alignment with what makes you feel alive and more fulfilled. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I know your time is extremely valuable, so if you've enjoyed today's content, please consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell so you get a notification next time I release another one of these videos. You can also leave me a comment below and let me know what part of this video resonated the most with you, or simply click that like button to let me know you enjoyed this content. And if you want to get your hands on a free 12-minute guided meditation that I recorded to help you manifest your dreams and create whatever you want in your life, go ahead and click the link in the description for your free download. And if you want to check out all the latest blog posts on my blog, dabsofreality.com, the link is down there below as well, along with my Instagram and my Facebook page if you want to consider following me on those platforms. Until next time, catch you on the flip side.